Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite soups, especially for this time of year. It's a hearty rosemary and potato soup. Rosemary is such a great herb to have in the garden. It's so easy to grow, it's so forgiving and drought tolerant, and it pairs perfectly with something like a potato. So let me show you how you make this soup. It couldn't be easier to do. So the first thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of olive oil in our stock pot here. While that's heating, we're going to slice up our leeks. So this is the envy of all. These are the leeks that I really wish I could grow. You know, these are the ones that I see in France that are all planted like this and they all look perfectly. My leeks don't look like this. So these I bought from a grocery store. But I'm working on it. I have high hopes, so we'll see. So we're just going to cut off the root end here, like so. And then we're only going to use the white parts. So we're just going to cut from here. You could save the green parts and you could make a really nice vegetable stock with them, or you could throw them in the compost heap. So whatever is your preference. Then we're also just going to slice the leek down like that, so we're in half. And then we're going to slice it into quarters. There we go. Just like that. And then we're going to give them a rough chop. It doesn't have to be perfect because these leeks are actually going to get pureed at the end of this whole process. So we're going to throw these into our pot. Like so. Already smells really good. Okay. And then we're also going to add half of a yellow onion that has been diced. Just going to add that to the pot. Then we're also going to add some garlic. So I have 2 cloves of garlic here that has already been peeled. And I'm just going to give it a really rough slice. Just like that. Doesn't even need to be perfect. You just chop it up. Because again, we're going to puree this soup. And then in that's going to go. So we're just going to put the lid on, let these veggies soften a little bit. And while that's happening, we're going to talk about our potatoes. Now, I'm a big fan of leaving the potato skins on. Now, I know this can be controversial, especially with my French relatives who think I'm nuts every time I do that. But the potatoes are full of nutrients. If you wash them well and buy organic, you don't have much to worry about. So we're going to leave our skins on. And this is what's going to add to that sort of hearty rusticness of the soup. And we're just going to quarter them. Now, this is just a pound of potatoes. So a pound will really do the trick. This is going to be a soup that's going to feed at least 6 people. 4 if you were doing it for a main course, but it makes a great starter for 6. Oh yes, see, look at this. This is looking really good. Okay, so while this is just simmering away, we are going to add 5 cups of vegetable broth, okay? So we're just going to add the vegetable broth. Here we go. We just want to add it now just so we don't burn all these veggies that are sort of simmering away here. Now, if you didn't have veggie stock in the house, you could also use water. That would also work. Okay, so now our potatoes are done, and we're going to add them to the pot. Just like this. There, so now everything is in there, all incorporated. We are going to put the lid on our pot. We're going to set our timer for 10 minutes, and then when that timer goes off, we're going to add our rosemary. So I have some beautiful rosemary here that I just picked and washed. It's all ready to go. But basically what we want to do is get a nice bouquet. So like that. That's probably pretty good. And then we're going to take some of this butcher twine, and we're just going to wrap it up. Almost like those little sage bundles that you see sometimes. And the reason we want to do this is because we are going to put this little bouquet in our soup so that the rosemary is going to steep in that broth, and it's going to make the most delicious infused soup. But we do want it to sort of all stay together, because if we just threw this whole thing in there and didn't wrap it, all the little sprigs would go everywhere, and it would be more work to fish it all out. So this way, we only have to fish out a little bundle. See? So I just tied it up like that. So now we are going to stick this in here and make sure that it's getting nice and submerged. It's almost like making a rosemary tea in a way, but we want to stick it in after the 10-minute mark so that it simmers for another 5. And that will allow all those potatoes to become nice and fork tender so that when we go to puree it, it'll be a lot easier to do. Okay, so our soup is ready to go. Now we can fish out our rosemary. See, so all we have to do is just take it with the tongs and 1, 2, 3, up. There we go. All right. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our immersion blender here. So this is a great little gadget. If you don't want to actually use a real blender, you can just blend it right here in the soup. So we're going to put it on high. See, and we're just going to blend that all in here. You can see it's starting to just blend the soup right up. So great. We're just gonna keep blending it until all the potatoes are actually pureed. That's what you wanna do. But it doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be a nice rustic hearty soup, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So this is looking beautiful. Now you can see those little specks of red. That's the skins from the potatoes. And I personally, maybe because I'm a gardener and I love vegetables, I love to see all parts of the plant. So to me, that makes it feel like it's very garden fresh. So I think it's pretty. Then we're gonna take our bowl and we're gonna get that all ready. But before we serve it, we wanna season a little bit. So I do like to add about a teaspoon of salt, just because potatoes really suck up the salt. So you do need to actually season it well. And then I'm also gonna add a little bit of pepper. There. All right, so now we're gonna ladle this up. Look how gorgeous this is gonna be. See, it's really thick, which is really great for a hearty soup this time of year where it's not quite warm enough that you're out of soup weather. It just really hits the spot. All right. Okay, so this is looking gorgeous. Now we're just gonna do a finishing touch. We're just gonna give it a little drizzle of olive oil. And then a little bit more fresh rosemary. You can just, see? Just like the garden, just like Mother Nature. There we go. And then we're also gonna add some of these garlic croutons, which really makes a fantastic finish. And if you want the recipe for the garlic croutons, it's also in the description, or you can also click the annotation and it'll take you to a video on my food channel all about a potato and leek soup that also incorporates these croutons. So you can see a demo over there. And there you have it, a hearty potato and rosemary soup. I hope you guys give this one a try and let me know what you think. I think you'll find it'll become one of your favorite go-to weeknight meals when you need to take the chill off. It's quite delicious. All right, you guys, I'll see you back here next time. And if you want to learn more tips on how to grow rosemary, click the annotation. It'll take you to my How to Grow Rosemary video. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.